What a finale, wasn't it? Please welcome Rhys Connor. How are you? Your first ever TV interview.
Yep.
Well, we are thrilled and honoured that you chose Loose Women.
Oh,
and
thank
welcome.
you.
It's good to see you. And look, you've got a Loose Women mug and everything.
Can I keep it?
Yeah.
Now, you know now what's going to happen. Your mate's going to screenshot that right now.
Absolutely, yeah.
Aren't they? There you go. Give him a close-up.
Have you had the day off college?
Yeah.
Are you dreading tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to it. I know there's going to be a lot of screenshots tomorrow,
Yeah.
but it is what it is.
Oh, listen, it has been absolutely amazing, the series, but you were obviously only 8 years old when Series 1 started. Tell us how that came about. How did you get that part?
Well, basically, I went to a drama club without really an intention of being an actor. I didn't really think much of it. I just sort of one of them things that Mum took me to. Didn't question
Your
it.
mum who's here, Jenny?
Yeah, she's there.
Hello, Mum.
Well, yeah, I went to that, and at some point, someone must have seen me and be like, oh, he's good for a role in. No intention of being an actor. I've got the lines, no clue what it was.
Didn't you think you were going to a shop to buy a toy when you really was going for an audition?
It's a different story, that. But,
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
No, you'd had the audition. This is just getting
This was just getting the audition, so I went, I got the audition, and somehow I managed to get the part. I had no idea how to this day.
Because you're a good actor, that's why.
Thank you.
But like Linda said, then where were you with your mum, Jenny,
Yeah,
when they rang to say you'd got the part?
Yeah, we was on our way to a toy shop to get some toy. I can't remember what it was. But Mum got a phone call. It's like, Jenny, are you driving right now? I said, yeah. You might want to sit down or park up, whatever. And then I said, he's got the part. So Mum lost her mind. I didn't know what was going on because I couldn't hear the phone. It's like, you've got the part! I was like, oh, that's great. It's like, you can have 2 toys. I'm like, yeah!
The thing I loved is that your mum... What did your mum think from the title, Happy Valley? What did she think this drama was going to be about?
She thought it was going to be a family-friendly kids show. Because just reading the title, it's like, oh, Happy Valley, it's going to be nice. Yeah, it wasn't nice. It was a very disturbing show.
Yeah. Yeah. Please welcome Dame Prue Leith. Woo! That was a very energetic hop, skip and a jump.
It was indeed. It was.
Yes. You skipped, hopped down, hopped onto the stool. You and Gloria obviously got the orange piano today.
We rang each other last night and said...
You did? Look at you!
Yeah.
People often talk to you, don't they, about your clothes? I mean, we're going to talk about the tour in a moment, but one of the questions always, I know, is where do you get your glasses and where do you get all your beautiful, colourful clothes and necklaces?
I know, well, the colourful clothes, I'm happy to say my wonderful stylist called Jane Galpin. It's the best thing because I never have to go shopping. She comes along with all these clothes, says, what do you like? And I say, yes, yes, yes. She often says, you don't like it, but try it on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and then I keep what I like. And it's the best thing because
Oh, my God, amazing.
When did you start embracing colour? Because, you know, they say older women, often we kind of revert, you know, our default setting is black or navy blue.
No, when I married John, well, when I met John about 12 years ago, I call him my current husband.
Current husband, who is it? Hi, John. There is the lovely John. Hello, John. Have we got the camera under there? Yeah.
He's been in women's fashion all his life, and so he has always encouraged my colour. I always liked it, but he made me much braver. And things like the specs and the necklaces, I mean, I just love them and can't stop buying them. And so now I have a range of both.
Yeah.
So you can buy all this stuff.
But it is like your
It's funny because I get older, I like colour even more. I love colour. You know what? I think women, so many women write to me and say, you know, you're so brave to wear a yellow coat or something. And I think, actually, as you get older, you need colour more. Because, you know, when you're young, you're so lovely anyway. You don't need any lippy anyway. You just look lovely. So that, you know, I think we should be braver about it.
Well, talking of brave, you've started, actually, a one-woman show, and when I say one woman, I mean one woman. It's not nobody interviewing.
One old
you.
comes
on. No, well, not old at all in our book, but nobody interviewing you. When I read this, I thought I expected someone interviewing.
Well, normally
Prue
it's
on
like an
stage.
audience with, isn't it? With someone guiding you
it's-
along.
No, I'm afraid it's just me.
Amazing.
But I chatter away for about an hour on stage, and then...
She's pinched my producer, by the way.
Well, it's his fault I'm doing it.
Yeah,
Clive
Teller.
Teller.
He was my researcher years ago, and he's so clever.
I know. And he
And
does
you have
all-
to do what he says, Prue.
But I do, because he's so good. It's his fault I'm doing it at all, because he had just come back from a tour with Joanna Lumley, and he produces all her shows. And I met him at lunch, and I was gassing away, and he said, you know, you should do a one-woman show. And that was about 4 years ago, and I didn't really think about it. And then, because Bake Off is now so popular in America,
Yes.
I suddenly thought, you know, if I go to America, I could sell a few books. They've never bought any of my novels or my autobiography or any cookbooks. I mean, Americans have never heard of me. But because of Bake Off, they are absolutely besotted by Bake Off.
Do they recognise you
Well, the
when you're
fans
there?
and the fans are crazy there, aren't they?
They go mad. I mean, they meet you in the street. I mean, you know, British fans, I mean, a lot of them say, can I have a selfie? But they're always very discreet and polite about it. And the Americans go, oh my God! Oh, my God! I can't breathe.
Are you really Prue Leith?
Am I really Prue? Perhaps I am.
Oh, my goodness.
Please welcome, it's Annabelle Davis. Welcome.
Hi, thank you.
Are you still pinching yourself when you're watching clips like that back and thinking, I'm in Hollyoaks?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's a very different world. And my auntie is a huge fan of the show, so she was the first person I told. And even still, she's like, you're on Hollyoaks. I'm like, I know. It's crazy.
And it suddenly feels very sort of grown-up soapland, doesn't it? Because obviously, with children that watch CBeebies and see BBC at home, you were in the Tracy Beaker spin-off. But it's a very different sort of world, isn't it, once you're thrown into that sort of mainstream soap. And it's hard.
Yeah, it's different on a lot of levels. I mean, Dumping Ground was great because they really dealt with a lot of cool topics for a children's show, some really hard-hitting stuff. But Hollyoaks, obviously, you've got a massive audience, and there is a lot more you can explore because, you know, it's adult and it is later. But, I mean, the main differences, I think, is the schedule soap is a whole machine of its own, and it's I'm still sort of learning the paces and stuff, but it's fun. It's been a great learning curve, and I think, I mean, after this, I think a lot of people have heard once you've done a soap, you can do anything. So
Yeah.
it's cool.
Well, as a Hollyoaks person myself, tell us about your casting process, because it was a little bit different. So your role was originally not for a smaller person, but you kind of had an influence on how the direction of that role went.
Yeah, it was lovely, actually. Lucy Allen, who I worked with on Dumping Ground, so she already knew me. And she approached me just saying, I've got a role, you know, it's not written for a little person, but I'd love you to take a look and see whether you would like to play her. And it was nice. We had a few Zoom meetings where we discussed the character and different ways we could take her, because it's lovely to be given a role, you know, that isn't made for a little person, because that doesn't really define who you are. But on the other hand, it is nice to explore things, you know, some perspectives from a little person and actually give viewers that, because I think it's really important, you know, on TV that you're shown all this diversity and we can all learn from it, really, raising all the awareness.
Well, obviously, your exactly. Your dad, Warwick, is literally in everything. Mega famous. Your mum, Sammy, we know very well here.
Yeah.
Was on the show a lot. Lovely. Please send her our love.
I will. She sends her love as well.
Did they give you any tips about sort of being in the public eye? Because, you know, particularly when you do a soap, your recognisability factor shoots up, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think I've already noticed that. You don't realise, like, what a big viewership these have, and I think it's incredible. It's really special. But But for me, I think, as I've grown up with a famous dad, it's oddly normal. And I think, I mean, we'd be walking him down the street and he'd get stopped and we just carry on in the end. For the hours.
And I bet Warwick talks to every single last one of them for about 10 minutes.
Well, it is lovely, and we're so grateful for people who come up to you and say how much they love what you've been in, because, I mean, without them, you wouldn't be doing what you're doing. So.
But you say you've grown up with your famous dad. Was that where you got the bug for acting, watching him, or was it something that you always wanted to do yourself?
I think it was. I think, but for me, I love art, and at school, Mum and Dad were always very strict, you know, get all your GCSEs and stuff. They never really pushed it and encouraged it because it's a hard business. So I wasn't so sure, and it was when I saw him in a play, See How They Run, where he created it and he used all little actors and the set was scaled down, and I was like, OK, this is so cool. Feeling the audience's reaction, I was like, I want a little bit of that. And so I had to go and I got the dumping ground and I just carried on. I think my mum and dad are like, oh, OK. Now, I will see how you go. I mean, the minute I'm not working, Dad's like, so what are you doing now?
Right, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky was in London yesterday and gave a powerful speech in Parliament asking for more support for his country and for Britain to supply more powerful English planes. He later had tea with the King as he continued to pile on the pressure for more help. But Russia has warned of consequences for Britain and the rest of the world if we do supply the fighter jets. Isn't that right, Jane?
Yeah, and obviously this has caused great consternation amongst the general public, as of course it would. So you've got the one side of the argument where everybody is sort of saying, well, look, we were there at the outset, helping Ukraine. We've got to help them out. We've got to, you know, stick with it. He's come all this way to ask for our help. How can we refuse? But then you've also got a lot of people who are quite rightly, you know, when Putin makes these statements saying about repercussions or whatever, going, hang on a minute. Let's all just mind our own business here. We've got our own issues in Britain. Let's not spend money on this. Let's not raise our head above the parapet. But to the latter argument, I would say we are a relatively small military force in the world now. I think we've got like 70,000 troops. And the world order internationally is only ever based on people following the rules, not stepping outside the boundaries, you know. And here we have a country that's not that far away from us in international terms, that has been invaded illegally. And if we stand back and let that happen without all getting together and saying, you know, we're gonna help stop this, who's to say that that doesn't happen to us in the future? This is like a collective thing where everybody has to say to Putin, you cannot behave like this. He needs to be put back inside his box.
Do you think there's an element of people sort of thinking that it simply will not and cannot happen to us?
It's a very British way of thinking, that, isn't it? It can't possibly happen to us, but it can. Yeah.
You know.
I mean, I don't often like to accept when I'm wrong, but I will admit when I am. And I will admit, there was a bit of cynicism towards Zelensky with me. And there was just some spidey sense, you know, I was a bit concerned about why is a man and his wife talking to, you know, Piers Morgan or whoever and doing a Vogue photo shoot in the middle of a war. It's unprecedented. It's never happened before, you know. But I listened to other people. I listened to you. We were talking earlier. And I do understand that the reason that these things are happening is because he is keeping this war at the forefront. Because there are other things.
Otherwise, we'd all be getting on with our lives.
You know, I do understand that. The main thing for me where I can understand, you know, we are going through a crisis at the moment where people can't heat their homes and feed their children, and they see all this money being spent on this war. And the question they ask is, there is £6 billion was spent during COVID on unused PPE because of the fast-track VIP lane that was given. And nobody is accountable for that. No one's talking about that. So you can understand Doris and John, who can't feed their family, wondering, why are we not talking about that deficit? Where is all that money gone? And now we're giving the same amount to another country.
I, of course, agree that we have to and we need to, but I do understand, like Jane does, that you know, we're not a bottomless pit.
Yeah. It's difficult, isn't it? It's a really difficult one. We've seen the videos, we've seen, like, the devastation that it's caused in Ukraine, but you also see that Putin is someone, seems like when he says he's going to do something, he's going to do it. I think a lot of people didn't believe it. But it's just about knowing the level from our country, what we can, how far we can help, and knowing the risks that it poses to us. And then other countries, there's other countries that are in need. You think of places like Congo that's got war going on, and what if they ask for help? Have they received it?
We never hear anything.
We never hear about those
But putting
other
it
countries.
brutally, that's not a threat to us.
I know, but it's still people.
So
The
it's
same way
like you
we're
can't-
saying
So
people in
people that
Ukraine
need help.
are human. They're still human beings. They
Yeah.
still need help. So
But this
it's
isn't just about
I know-
helping the Ukrainians.
I
This
know,
is about
but it's about knowing
dealing
our
with
level.
Putin
It's
so
about
that it doesn't come back on us.
No, definitely. But I think, look, there's many countries that has helped the UK, and when they need the help, they're not getting the help either. I think it's about us knowing our levels, how much we can help. I'm not saying that we shouldn't, but really understanding the impact so that we know what step we're taking next. We don't want to see anybody. We know Ukraine people are losing lives, but there's also other countries as well. So it's just knowing our levels and what we can do so we're all safe.
Sorry, Kelly, are you a rager or do you kind of go into yourself?
I don't want to give anyone too much energy. After, when you're finished, you're finished. Otherwise, if you carry that on, then they're still there. They've got a grip on you, haven't they? You know what I mean? They've got a grip.
Yeah.
So loads of people change their image, whether that is weight loss, aesthetics, hair, because it gives them their self-esteem back, their confidence, you know, they kind of feel, I'm ready, I'm going to show you what you're missing. They kind of do that. But I don't think I've done that in breakups, but I have done it in life changes.
Yeah.
You know, like when you go through
reinvent
different...
yourself.
Yeah, reinvent yourself, kind of be more comfortable in your skin. I think you get that as you get a bit older, don't you? So then you own it more. But I just wouldn't waste my time on somebody else with their energy of that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm the same. It would be a case of pride, really, because, I mean, I think if I was raging all over the place, then it would make me feel even worse because it would be obvious that they had kind of got to me. So my pride would stop me reacting in any way. But when you do see people, you know, who, like, you know, have revenge acts, you know, whether it's the bin bags out of the door or they trash the car or, you know, prawns in the curtain. That was always the story, that somebody's gone and sewn prawns in the curtain and all that stuff. I wonder if that would make you feel good.
Seeking
you know, to have that kind of
Yeah. No, see, it's really funny because I was thinking, oh, that's not really my style. I think it's better to sort of move on and be silent and be successful. That's the best revenge. But then I did look back and think about past relationships, and I do remember once, you know, this is very, like, showing my age, but when your boyfriend would lend you their CDs, and I remember one guy broke up with me, so I scratched all the CDs with my door key and then gave them back to him. Very petty.
Did it give you something?
Yeah, because I knew it'd be jumping every time I'd listen to it, and it felt really...
Yeah, that's what I wonder. Just something like that would make you feel a little bit better. Have you seen this story? This is a company that's offering you the chance to name your bin lorry after your ex-partner for Valentine's Day by entering a ballot. So just that little thing. Judy, do you get the appeal of that? Just whether it's doing the CDs or putting their name on a bin lorry, would it give you something?
No, I feel like all of that is too much energy. You could be out there meeting the new boo-boo with that energy. I don't want to give them that power. But I'm personally, my revenge is, you know, just clearing out the house of anything that reminds me of you. And if I want to be spiteful, then maybe something you've bought me, I will make sure I'll wrap it up and send it back to you.
Nice.
But no, I'm not going to do anything that, you know, rage or mash up your car, or it doesn't make no sense. I don't want
You
you
get the
to know.
sage out. That's what
I
people
do get the sage. I will get the sage.
Yeah.
Do you?
Burn the sage, burn the energy, bit, you know, wherever it's been, so just sage your body.
I don't recommend that.
Putting it back in. My friend did burn. My friend, though, did. So she had a boyfriend who used to stay over, weren't kind of living together as such, and found out they'd been cheating. He said he was going to come and back to get the clothes. What did she do to them?
She burned them.
She burnt them all. Ooh. She said, don't bother coming back because your clothes aren't here anymore. Yeah. I know.
Don't try that at home, folks.
He didn't go back, just in case.
Yeah, I wonder if that does make you feel better.
No, it made her feel better. She loved it.
Not if you get charged for criminal damage.
Yeah.
It probably won't.
The thing is, meanwhile you're sitting there doing that and putting all that energy, they're out there. It's not making them reflect on what they did was bad. It's actually giving them excuse. Oh, she burnt my clothes. Look, that's
She's
why.
crazy.
That's why. Yeah, you know, it's the first thing. That's why I was dating somebody else. That's why she wasn't on my level.
Yeah.
Just the revenge is your self-development and your success.
Leave with dignity.
That's what it is. Yeah.